Aloha and welcome to the Kukui Connection. I'm Representative Marilyn Lee, and this is a weekly show where we talk about community issues, legislative issues, and issues of culture and the arts. My guest today is someone I've wanted to have on the show for a long time. She's going to be talking about a subject matter I have wanted to talk about for a long time, which is recycling. And she is Suzanne Jones. She has a long title. She's the Recycling Branch Chief for the City and County of Honolulu's Department of Environmental Services. Welcome, Suzanne.
Thank you.
So nice to have you with us
Thank
today.
you.
Well, since you finally got here, I'd like to find out a little bit more about you. I know you live in my community, for one thing, and I know that you have been the head of the department since 1989, which is quite a long time. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I didn't know we were going to talk about me. I thought we were talking about trash.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I wasn't prepared to talk about me.
Well, your association with trash,
Well, let
then.
me talk about me in relation to trash.
Right,
then.
right, exactly.
Because I think before we get started with a discussion about recycling and what everybody needs to do to sort it out at home, school, and work, I think it would be good to go back a little bit and talk about the landfill. When I started with the city and county more than 20 years ago, H-Power Waste to Energy Facility was just coming online, and they were then hiring me to then launch the recycling programs at the same time. And before H-Power and before the recycling programs, just about everything that we generated in trash was dumped into a landfill. So I'm not quite sure about the actual tonnage figures from 20 years ago, but in today's numbers, we're generating 1.2 million tons of what's called municipal solid waste every year, just from the island of Oahu. If we had continued to put that much waste into a landfill all of these years, I can't imagine what we would look like right now. So I think there was a lot of foresight from the people who planned the H-Power facility and who looked forward with recycling initiatives to take us to where we are today. So today, we are currently diverting more than 70% of our waste from the Waimanalo Gulch landfill.
Wow, that is impressive.
Well, I think there's a lot of discussion in the news about maybe misdirections that we take. There's a lot of talk about the failed waste shipping when we tried to ship waste off to a landfill in Washington. And you know, I received communications from across the country, you know, wanting to know if we needed any help in managing our waste since we didn't seem to know where to put it. And I said, we've really got a very strong waste management system on board, but that doesn't always make the news. So I just wanted to say how well we're doing. Honolulu was recognized among the top 3 big cities in the country for a Green City Award, and that is for our recycling programs and for our landfill diversion rates. But we're on an island, so diverting more than 70% of our waste is not quite good enough. We really have to get as close to nothing going to the landfill as possible.
Right. And I understand you personally won an award for being a very green woman.
I'd like to say, you know, Honolulu has earned a lot of these honors, the Green City Award, some of the, and recently the Rosie Award for me. And nationally, they decided that they wanted to recognize women in the industry, women professionals, because we are now playing a bigger and bigger role in an industry that was once dominated by men. And so if you remember Rosie the Riveter, hailing
Absolutely,
back to World War II,
yes.
and that is looking at, you know, women getting into traditionally male industries and taking on very courageous and lead roles.
Oh,
and so I was honored among 12 other women professionals in the country, and I feel quite honored.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I'm quite proud of you.
Thank you.
I understand you worked in New York City initially on getting a program started.
That is where I started my career in recycling. I'm originally from New York. I graduated from the University of Hawaii and then returned to New York for a few years while my husband was going to graduate school. And I happened into a job in recycling for a not-for-profit organization that was working very closely with the City of New York. And I was a consultant working to develop office building recycling programs throughout New York City. Our organization developed the office paper recycling program at the World Trade Center. Huge buildings, and from top to bottom, 102 stories up and down, those buildings were recycling all of their office paper. For big 50-story buildings like Merrill Lynch, Consolidated Edison, all of these big companies, you look at New York City sort of like a concrete forest, because what's coming out of those buildings is a huge amount of paper that could be used to generate new paper rather than going back and cutting down trees.
So that was good preparation for your job here.
Yes, and then right after that I did return to Hawaii and was able to pick up on the job with the city to coordinate its recycling programs.
Well, you know, I really love having those recycling bins in my yard, and I really use them, and I'm so happy that the city is doing that program. But many people wonder what the relationship between the city and county and the state is related to recycling. So maybe you can explain that.
Well, the State Department of Health is the regulator. So the State Department of Health will regulate all of the recycling facilities on the island. They permit the recycling facilities. They also provide permits to every solid waste processing facility, including the landfill and H-Power. In addition to that, they do administer the High Five deposit program, but they do so with great support from the counties. You want me to?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. You know, some people will say, for instance, well, why do we need to have the H5 program if the city and county is already doing their own program? But I don't think they understand that they're interactive and that the state actually gives a lot of support to the city and county.
Well, the counties work very collaboratively with the state in passing this legislation because we saw the need to provide support both to the recycling industry and also to drive the recycling behaviors. In addition to supporting the recycling industry, that High Five beverage container program is a building block for all the other programs that we develop within the county. So if I'm encouraging condominiums to recycle, the value of those high fives is also helping to support their building's recycling program. And when we implement curbside recycling for all of those high fives that people do not take back to redemption and opt for the convenience of the blue cart, the value of those high fives is supporting the costs of delivering that curbside system. And then the other question that comes up, well, if we have curbside recycling, do we need the High Five program? Well, not everyone has curbside recycling. For us that have both, we have options. But what about all of the beverage containers that we consume away from home, in the parks and at beaches, or in commercial facilities, hotels, restaurants, not condominiums that don't have curbside? And then what about the litter? I think people have forgotten that the High Five program was also meant to help us reduce litter, and it's done a fabulous job. People do not see beverage containers littered along the highways or the beaches any longer, and if anyone does litter, there is someone else picking it up because
afterwards.
It's worth a nickel, and that was the idea behind that system.
Well, you know, I remember when I had a dog and I was taking my dog for a walk several years ago. Actually, in carrying a bag, I would pick up, you know, 2 or 3 or maybe 4 beverage containers. That's no longer true. So it's really...
That is
really,
good to
yeah,
hear.
I don't see one.
And the other part is when people start to become more aware of these litter issues, it has a ripple effect on reducing other types of littering. So, all good.
Yeah, people feel a sense of pride in their community.
That's nice.
Yeah, you know, the other thing that I recently took a bag of my recyclables over to the high school, and it helps some of the high school groups and some of the nonprofits to continue their program. So that's another probably unplanned for consequence.
There are a number of schools and not-for-profit organizations that fundraise with the High Five. Lots of schools are doing fundraising events to raise money for Project Grad, to send their band off to the mainland. We've seen some very aggressive recycling campaigns. The city does support them with signage and containers to help them do those collection campaign events. And additionally, what people may not know is that groups like Kidney Close and United Cerebral Palsy and Big Brothers Big Sisters, all three of those organizations do curbside pickup of household items, and they additionally will pick up your high fives, and it's a donation to those organizations. So people are making good benefit from the program.
Yeah, I know that Project Graduation at Mililani High School actually does collections just about every week, and I know that they really depend heavily upon the revenue they're generating.
No, I worked with Mililani High School a bit, and because we were setting up a program there hoping to be a model for school recycling, and I worked with the teachers on campus, and what they shared with me was, here's a school with 2,000 students at Mililani High School, and vending machines with beverage containers, and they said if only half of the students drink one beverage a day, that's 1,000 beverage containers every day.
Wow.
I know.
Well, because there
Yeah.
are 2,500 students in the
And
school.
that doesn't count how many beverage containers are generated when they have big sporting events down in their stadium area.
Oh, right. Well,
Which
yeah.
becomes another opportunity for collecting and raising funds.
Right, because there they have the OC16 leagues come to play,
right.
so that they have a game almost every week.
So wherever there's an event, wherever there's trash, there's recycling.
So, what things are we not recycling that you see as potential for the future?
We look at balancing what we target for recycling versus what we designate for waste to energy and H-power. And sometimes that question comes up because they'll say, well, they came from another community on the mainland and they're collecting more types of materials in their blue carts or in their recycling containers, and why aren't we doing that here?
Right.
One of the reasons is Hawaii is located in the middle of the Pacific, and so everything that we recycle has to be packed and shipped to market. So that changes the economics for us. We need to target the high value materials with strong markets, which is what we do for recycling, and then we designate the other materials that are low value but combustible to waste to energy. So plastics 1 and 2 go into the blue cart, but the other numbered plastics 3 and 5 and 7 are much lower value, and we get more benefit from the energy production and the power generation.
For those who might not really know or might not really recycle, the number appears on the bottom of the container, so that tells you what kind of value it has.
Yes, and it's embossed into the plastic. So sometimes people are looking on the label, but they actually emboss it into the plastic itself. Most of them are readable. Some of them you definitely need to put your glasses on. So but people will be surprised at how many plastics are 1 and 2. The vast majority of plastics, for example, if you go shopping everyone knows a bottle, beverage containers, but you go out into all kinds of bottles, whether it's detergent, shampoo, hand creams, vitamin bottles, they're all number 2s. If you go into the fruit and vegetable section of the grocery store and things are packaged in those plastic boxes, those are number 1s, the clear plastic boxes for the fruit and vegetables, even the ones that are shaped to the apples. That's a number 1 plastic, and that can go into the blue cart.
Okay. Now, if someone were to go to your website, all this information would be there.
Yes, and so much more. Opala.org, opala.org.
We've got it up on the screen now.
Oh, sorry, I didn't need to spell. Opala is the Hawaiian word for garbage, and we found that to be a simple and easy web name, and yes, has everything. Now, not only does it tell people what they can put in their cart, but it also gives them their collection schedules. You just type in your address, and all of the collection schedules for your area. Which day is blue, which day is green. You can get a annual calendar showing the alternating blue and green pickup schedules, and you can also find your bulky item pickup schedule, the nearest recycling centers, convenience centers, and all the phone numbers to call if they have any questions.
Terrific. I actually must go to that website because I always go out and look what my neighbors have put out. Is it green, blue, or?
And for those higher tech people, we are just about to launch a phone app that they can do the same thing on their phone.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yes, but I have found with my new BlackBerry, not my old BlackBerry, I can actually go to the website and type in my address and get it that way as well. Yes, but phone apps are all the thing.
Yeah. Well,
Not for us, but.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I mean, the difference from 10 years ago is just, to me, amazing. And people really like it. They like it. They like the fact that they have those the opportunity to recycle in the 3 different colored bins. They like the opportunity to go to the recycling center and get back a little cash.
Yep.
They like the opportunity to go up to the school and help out the
I think people like
nonprofits.
the idea of recycling because we're really making good use of our resources. I don't think people like throwing things away.
No.
I think they like the idea that it will be made into a new product. It will become something new, and that we're being resourceful. So the key is we have to make it convenient, and then we'll have everyone on board. And I think that's what curbside recycling did. It made it convenient. We rolled it out to 160,000 homes on the island, and we saw our recycling rates just soar. Prior to that, we had the old drop-off system, which we kept trying to push to see whether we could get more people engaged in putting it in their car and dropping it off at the community recycling bin. But we no matter how we tried, and even when we tried to incentivize the schools by giving them more money, which by the way was subsidized, but we thought if we provided more money into the school, it might incentivize a behavior change where more people would recycle. And no, we just had maxed out that program. But when we delivered it to their curb, we did a survey recently, and 97% of the households are using their blue carts.
97%. Amazing.
Yes. Now what we also learned was they're all using their blue carts, but they're a little confused about what goes in the cart, because we're not capturing all of their stuff. So that's the work that we have at hand now to do, to make sure they're clear on what goes into the blue cart, and then further increase our recycling rates with that effort.
And in comparison to other communities around the nation, we rank pretty well.
We do. Top 3 big city in the Green City Award, and we are over the top on our landfill diversion rates because we employ both recycling and waste to energy to divert the material from landfill. And remember, we benefit from both sides, either from making new products or generating power from our waste. If we put waste in the landfill, it's a waste. But if we can utilize it to make new products, or green waste to make compost and mulch, or energy, or to produce energy, then we're making good use of that resource.
I'm talking about the green waste. What's the path it follows after it leaves our homes?
From the green carts?
Yeah, from the green carts.
It's taken directly to the composting facility currently located in Campbell Industrial Park.
Okay.
They grind up the green waste into mulch. Some of the material is used as mulch, and some is then further decomposed into compost and soil amendments. The difference is mulch is a coarsely ground up green waste. You may use it as a cover material to keep weeds down. Some people use it on pathways, also to keep the pathways from eroding. But if you further compost it, it turns back into this rich, dark soil that you can put back into your gardens to enrich your landscape.
And the green waste, is that available for purchase, or how do people get hold of that?
Yes, very good question. If you go into the garden shops where you normally buy soil amendments, mulch and compost, you will see Menehune Magic, which is the name for the local product that's being made here.
All
You
right.
can get the compost there. if you go directly into the compost facility, you would be able to pick up free mulch. They won't give you free compost. You'll have to purchase that, but they will provide you with free mulch that you can load up in your vehicle and take back to your
Excellent.
house.
Yeah. See, that was something that I really didn't know, although Menehune Magic sounds familiar, and I must have seen it in the garden shop. But
We are diverting from curbside recycling. We're capturing over 50,000 tons of green waste in the green carts. Additionally, we've got another 20 to 30,000 tons that we recover from drop-off locations, like our convenience centers. We have separate bins just for the green waste, and people also self-haul into the composting facility. And then beyond that, there's landscapers and commercial tree trimmers that are bringing green waste into that composting facility. I think they are processing somewhere upwards of 90,000 tons of green waste every year into products that we can use back in our gardens, yes.
And unlike other states where they have winter, we have this all year round. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity, and it's also one of the products that we close the loop right on island. We don't have to pack and ship it to a manufacturing facility elsewhere. The processing is all on island. We call that a closed loop system. So very beneficial to the island.
Excellent. Well, we're just about out of time, but
We
what
are?
what haven't I asked you that you would like to get across to the audience?
I think the public education is very important, and there are some opportunities that are coming up every year with our schools, and I'd like to make sure that people are aware of. We have a partnership with Honolulu Theater for Youth that we have continued now for several years, and I hope to do in the future. And every year they are creating fabulous shows for us to educate our kids about recycling. So in their theater, they do a season of shows, and they do a little playlet about recycling. This season, we're incorporating that play into their Christmas shows during the holidays. I do believe that Ebenezer Scrooge will now be educated about recycling with the 3 carts. The visitation of the spirits will come in the form of the green and the gray and the blue cart to educate about recycling and make it fun for the kids. And then there's another show that Honolulu Theater for Youth is doing that they're taking out on the road into the schools, so the entire school can gather in the cafeteria and spend an hour with an interactive performance learning how to sort it out.
That is really excellent. Thank you for sharing that.
Schools can go to our website at opala.org if they want more information about that. Plus, we deliver activity books to the schools that work with the shows, so that the teachers can then take it back into the classroom, teach the kids using the activity books, and the big part of the plan is then the kids take the activity books home.
And educate their parents.
That is correct,
Yeah.
because we have learned that it's important that everyone in the family is smart about recycling in order for it to work. And so mom may have it down, but dad and the kids maybe are messing it up, so we have to make sure we educate the entire family.
Great. Well, we are out of time, and I
good.
just want to thank you so much. I think we've gotten a lot of information, and I think hopefully that people will be more than ever excited about recycling and about learning more about recycling. Suzanne, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And for those of you who tuned in today, we've been talking to Suzanne Jones, the Recycling Branch Chief of the City and County of Honolulu's Department of Environmental Services. I got it all out. She's given us a lot of information, and I hope you too will be excited about recycling. Aloha, and tune in to the Kukui Connection at 4 p.m. on Sundays.